Greetings everyone, I'm Mar. Once again, this is my opinion. As I've mentioned several times in this review series of Everybody Loves Raymond before, and I'm going to be mentioning it several times again in the future, throughout a marriage, there's ups and downs, there's going to be arguments, there's going to be anger. You just got to roll with it and try to make up. Now, some arguments are going to be worse than others, and it's going to depend on the cause. So far throughout this show, we've seen some of the arguments caused by stupid stuff, and of course Ray trying to fix something that doesn't need to be fixed. This is a case of something that he did stupid years before, and he does try to fix it in a great way. And that, of course, is vow renewal. Now, before I get too far into the episode, just a reminder that if you do want to support the channel, you can join the Patreon down below. If you join that, you will gain access to certain videos early, and you'll be able to request videos depending on the tier. And if you want to do a one-off request or one-off support, the PayPal link is also down below. Now, 10th anniversary. This episode begins with Ray and Debra coming back after having their anniversary dinner. And, Ray doing his usual stuff. Maybe we should go... But nope. Debra decides, let's watch our wedding video. And you can tell the moment he hears that Ray knows, oh no, not a good idea. He's trying to delay it, but then once he gets the wedding video on, which they do reuse some footage from the second season ending episode. Oh boy, there it is. He taped football over the wedding. And Debra's reaction... very believable and expected. She erupts on him. You taped football over my wedding. It was years ago. And then he tries to deflect it. It's like, you should have popped the tab out and all that. But Ray, even if your friend said this game's getting good, you should tape it. If there's one video not to tape over, it's your wedding. I mean, there's certain birthday videos you won't want to tape over either, but you never tape over your wedding video. That is... No. And he made the big mistake, and he now has to live with it. Now, first he tries to get the footage back. But as he finds out from Robert, the guy who recorded his wedding was arrested later on for recording honeymoons without the permission of the people involved. So basically making illegal porn. They don't put it that way, but if it's a honeymoon, you know what he's recording. And all of his tapes were impounded and destroyed, including the ones that were legitimate, like weddings. So now that's gone, so Ray decides, you know what? There's one way to fix this. It's, how about we renew our vows? And Debra likes it. And in order for Ray to actually get forgiveness, he has to do everything himself, which Marie was originally going to do it, which makes sense why Ray has to do it instead of Marie. And this is another example of Marie siding with Debra when it's something that, it's definitely something every woman is going to identify with. And even if they are like that, Marie's going to side with her daughter-in-law over her son. Because it's like, really, Ray? You're going to treat it like that? Just like with the PMS episode, which... it's up there. I was looking for the DVD set. I believe that's in a couple episodes' time. Well, Ray does plan out the whole wedding. It's nice, beautiful. We get cameo appearances by a lot of the main cast. We see their friends. We see Cousin Gerard playing Smoke on the Water on his accordion. Father Hubley's there, which on the commentary they do mention the little thing I mentioned in Season 2 about starting as Debra's priest and then becomes a Barone priest. So, nice that they're very self-aware about it. And, of course, Debra's parents there. Nice little cameos by them all. And it turns out that Ray forgot to write his vows. He does pull a little forgiveness thing out of his butt because he does remember what Debra's favorite flower is. And that is what really gets her, that you remember my flower. And he does pull it. And of course the epilogue scene where they're watching the football game on the tape and then it cuts out right when Debra says I do. So nice little way there. And then going into the credits, I forgot what happened. So, nice, fun episode. And the humor revolving around Ray planning it, having to deal with his family. You can see the stress going on his face and all the little jokes revolving around it, like One that naturally writes itself is that he said that they were going to record him. And then when we get to later, Robert's like, when Ray mentions in the speech, like, you never told me to tape it. That joke just naturally writes itself. A lot of the jokes in this episode just naturally write itself when you go with the basic concept. Which, this is another one of those episodes that the nexus of the idea comes from the writer. In this case, it's Aaron Schur, who also wrote the can opener, and in the later episode is going to write as the kicker, one of my favorite episodes of the whole show. He accidentally taped over his own wedding with episodes of this show while he was trying to get a job on the staff. Now, like I said, that's a moment. However, unlike Ray here, Aaron was able to recover the raw footage and present it to his wife, which Aaron mentioned on the commentary caused another little fight because the raw footage did show him drunkenly flirting with some of the bridesmaids. Which Phil and Ray even mentioned on the episode. That would have been a good idea for an episode too, is like he gets the footage and it reveals something that happened at the wedding. Which, based on the fact we did see their wedding in a previous episode, I'm trying to figure out where in that whole wedding could something happen. Could it have been after the dance? Could it have been in between that scene where he shows he didn't crack the seal in the dance? You'd have to figure out where to place it. Or maybe it's something that involving one of the other guests, like Robert doing something, Frank or something doing something. Would have been interesting. Ray doing something with how he was in that episode, I don't see it, so that's probably why they didn't go with it. Subconsciously they're thinking, yeah, I don't see Ray doing something like that. It would have been fun, though. And of course, Aaron did make money off of this because he is the writer, so that did calm his wife down once the episode came out. So, she got over it. It's one of those things, they made up. Like I said at the top of the episode, the ups, downs, trying to get over all of it. And in something like this, Aaron did make up for it and showed his wife that he cared about him. I wonder if he remembered what her favorite flower is, like Ray did with Debra in this episode. Lilies of the Valley. And there's a couple good moments, like Frank busting Ray's chops. He's like, at least I didn't pull a Ray Barone. That is something to say. You didn't tape over the wedding video, so you didn't pull a Ray. And there is one deleted scene for this episode, and you can kind of see why it's deleted. It's funny. The scene lasts about 48 seconds, but it doesn't really add a lot to it other than adding on to the fact that Ray is getting stressed over it. And this one, he's mulling over the invitations, and specifically the RSVPing of said invitations. Where he's like, why is it not anybody sending them back? Robert comes in and is like, are you coming? Yeah. Well, I don't see a check mark. Yeah, you could put it. Well, you didn't send your RSVP. It's like, Ray, you do realize that you could put that RSVP. You don't have to get it from everybody. But that's Ray. He's already stressing over everything, and that's just another thing that is stressing him out over it. But, the episode ends with him making up and all that, so Ray's stress does pay off. And of course, that's because he really did screw up. Something Father Hubley even says when he sees how well everything is. Like, you really must have screwed up. All in all, this is a pretty fun and entertaining episode. Definitely fits into the dramedy category. While there is a good amount of comedy stemming from the circumstances, there is a little bit of drama thrown in there because, wedding video and all that. And, of course, the touching moments near the end. And, of course, pretty good sitcom episode. And if they had gone that other way, it would have brought a little bit of a head-scratcher, but they didn't. Probably put it as one of the better ones of this season, and does keep a little bit of the continuity, Robert, recovering from what happened in the previous episode. And definitely one that you should watch if you're just skimming through season 4. This is one not to skip. Next one, it's going to depend, but me being a child of the 90s, it's definitely one that I love. And we'll just see how watching it feels as an adult versus when I was watching this as an adolescent, and that's because it deals with Asian card games targeted at American school children.